Here we are now in the attic space. So, as previously mentioned, bonus room is right here behind this wall. So, we'll be removing all of the shelving. There will be a new door here, which will lead into the bathroom, and then off of the bathroom, you'll be able to access the new walk-in closet. So, space-wise, what we'll be looking at is the new toilet will be over there where that current HVAC duct is, and the shower will be right about here, where this ductwork is. And the walk-in closet will be right about here. So, in thinking about this with the HVAC contractor, we're going to have to reroute this ductwork, reroute this exhaust vent, which comes from the laundry room, exhausting the air out of that room. And then we'll have to get creative with redoing this ductwork here as well, which goes down into a closet space, which is beneficial to us because that space not as important to keep conditioned as a regular living space, a bedroom, something like that. So we'll have to get creative with how we are able to get that back into the new floor system. That is the access point I was talking about before, where across the RV garage, we will need to go across that space through that attic space of the RV garage down to the exterior wall where the main service of the home comes into the house. And you can see this bundle of wires here, where these service wires are already coming from to supply the 220 service to the house. So in here, this is what we're looking at with the homeowner, with the contractors, deciding how to best utilize this space, what's going to make the most sense, what's going to be most cost affordable. Right here you can see that we have a drop in the space from the bonus room into here, which we were hoping was going to be a little bit more advantageous to us than it looks like it might be, because we prefer, when possible, to avoid having curbs in showers where you can just have a nice smooth transition from the main bathroom floor into the shower with no step or no curb. So we prefer, where possible, to have a drop, and we're upstairs, so not as essential from an ADA standpoint. If anybody needed to get a wheelchair into that shower, we're upstairs, so very unlikely that somebody's going to be coming up here that's needing the use of a wheelchair, but still it would be nice to avoid having a curb. We might not be able to do that because we only have about 8 inches, and our subfloor in here is going to be 8 inches tall. But this is what the space is looking like. Here's some of the thought process of what we're going through, discussing with the customer how they want to utilize the space, what we have available, what we can do to keep the cost down as much as possible, and also not be too invasive to the existing systems, not overload the electrical systems, or not overload or throw off the balance of the air conditioning systems that are in this space. So I'm excited for you guys to see both sides of this, so the living space and how that will transform, but also this space, which isn't currently living space, which will be. So eventually there'll just be a wall here where you'll see the outside of the new structures. But here's everything that we are thinking through. Water tie-in. Oh, one important detail. There's drains here, drain lines. These are only 1.5 inch drain lines. We technically have to have 2-inch drain lines for the sink, and then a 3-inch drain line for the shower, 2-inch drain line for the sink and the shower, and a 3-inch drain line for the toilet, which will be over there. So what we're actually having to do for that, this exhaust pipe here is on the wall of the utility room, and that is the exhaust vent for the dryer down there. And so underneath the dryer in the utility room, the plumbers located the 3-inch line in the foundation. So we're actually having to chip into the foundation for adding this toilet. The toilet needs a 3-inch drain line, so we have to locate that, tie into it so that toilet will function correctly. So once we tear into that as well, I'll get some footage of that, show you guys what that's looking like. But a lot of thinking, a lot of coordinating, a lot of figuring out how we're going to tie into all of these mechanicals from an electrical, plumbing, and air conditioning standpoint to make sure that these rooms are functional and comfortable for future use.